Good morning. How you doing there, kid?
George is home. You wouldn't want to wake him.
I certainly wouldn't.
Here we are, Eustace. All nice and fresh, too.
What's this stuff supposed to be?
Cereal.
Now, Mom, you know I always have hotcakes, sausage, and eggs for breakfast.
But George likes cereal, and it being his first day home.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. My dear cousin is back. Oh, that's hot.
That's just the way George likes it.
I wish that guy had found another place to live instead of imposing on relatives.
He's not imposing. He's getting his old job back, and he's paying his way.
That's right. Pick on me.
Oh, what's the use?
What are you laughing at?
I waited to see how you go about blaming that on George.
I wonder if I ought to change this.
Well, what do you think?
What a racket that guy has, sleeping all day.
I heard that. Poor boy, it's probably the first good night's rest he's enjoyed in months. After sleeping on those army cots, his own bed must seem like heaven. George Kelly! George Willoughby Kelly!
Good morning, everybody. Boy, oh boy, it's sure great to be home. And Hattie, you don't know how much I've missed you. And you too, Eustace.
Oh, you don't forget you've ever been away, George.
Understand you're going back with the Martin Hardware Company.
That's right, I'm seeing Mr. Martin this morning. Hey, you look pretty sharp for a truck driver. Aren't you working today?
No more truck driving for me. I've been promoted. I'm now a junior executive, white collar. Gotta be dressed at all times. Some people just get along better than others.
Same old Eustace.
Well, executive, you've wasted so much time talking, you're late for work.
Holy smoke. See you later, Mom.
Don't mind Eustace, George.
Oh, he's a good guy at heart. I better get going myself.
Well, you haven't eaten a thing.
I'm not hungry this morning.
You gonna walk downtown?
Yeah, I want to do some shopping, and I'd like to look the old town over.
Well, the town's just about the same as when you left.
Bye, Hattie.
Oh, look now, George, I've just remembered. The Veterans Hospital is collecting old books. Now, this one's been laying around the attic for years. You might drop it off at the collection station at 7th and Oak. You'll be walking right by.
I'd be glad to, Mrs. Kelly. But on one condition.
The condition wouldn't be corned beef and cabbage for dinner tonight now, Mr. Kelly.
That it is, that it is.
Oh, well, you've talked me into it. Get along with you.
Now, you can do me a favor. If they ever start collecting old clothes in this town, you can give them that suit of mine. You know, the sort of brown one with the brass buttons and the stripes on the sleeves?
Good. I don't think you'll ever need that again.
Bye. Oh, good morning, young lady.
I'm going to walk with you on account of I live next door. And I want to walk with you on account of I like you.
Well, I'd be delighted, Miss.
You can call me Emily. I let all the boys I like call me Emily on account of that's my name, Emily.
I'd be flattered, Emily.
Your name is George Kelly, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. How did you know?
My mama told me.
Oh?
Are you glad to be back from the army?
Very glad, Emily.
I've got something I'd like to give you, George.
Oh?
A present.
A present for me?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what's in it.
You'll see. Here, hold this.
All right. Come on, tell me about it.
No, then it wouldn't be a surprise.
Oh.
Here.
Well, it's well wrapped up.
Mm-hmm.
How nice. Bubble gum.
Here comes Mrs. Garfield. I don't think I like her, George.
She's really very nice when you get to know her. She used to write my excuse notes when I played hooky from school.
She did?
George Kelly, it's nice to have you back.
It's nice to be back, Miss Garfield.
It has been delightful to visit with you, and I hope to see you again in the immediate future.
Isn't she a lovely child? Don't you think... Well, George, now that you're back, I imagine you'll face quite a readjustment problem.
Oh, I have no problem.
Oh, you brave, brave boy.
Look, Mrs. Garfield, I'm not a brave, brave boy. I didn't even get out of this country. I'm getting my old job back. I have no problem.
The war has done a lot to you.
How do you mean?
You didn't used to chew bubble gum.
But I like bubble gum.
Well, George Kelly, this is a surprise. Glad to see you back.
Oh, thank you, Mr.
Now,
Hodges.
George, don't you worry about a thing. Just get a lot of rest and relaxation.
Well, I don't
Anyway,
need any-
I'm glad to see you home again. Been making deposits with us, I suppose, after you get straightened out. I mean, after you're, what's that word?
Rehabilitated.
Yeah, bright boy. Well, good luck, George.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's quite all right.
I'm very sorry.
You said that.
Oh, but I'd like to apologize.
There was no harm
Oh, I
done.
was very clumsy. I said I was very clumsy.
I heard you.
What a girl. Well, there's no time for that. Got things to do. West Haven. This is the town for me. This is where I live. This is where I'm going to grow old. Contentment, peace, and quiet.
Hey, are you Aldrich or Hennessy?
Neither. I'm Kelly.
Kelly?
No.
Oh, running a dark horse, huh?
All right, folks, break it up here. Come on, break it up. Come on.
Stand back, give him some air.
From the job they did on this guy, it looks like a hot election this year.
Who is it, Mike?
Name's George Kelly.
Must have been quite a battle.
You're telling me. What hit me?
What's the idea of you starting trouble?
I didn't start anything.
You can tell that to the desk sergeant.
Just a moment, officer. I know this boy. I was just talking to him. He just got out of the Army yesterday.
Yeah? What's the idea of you getting mixed up in a political brawl?
Well, I was just standing there minding my own business.
It's terrible. A returning veteran's not safe to walk the streets of West Haven.
Politics are certainly getting out of hand in this town.
If you ask me, I'm not voting for either candidate this time.
There ought to be another candidate running for alderman of the 2nd District. I'd sure give him my vote.
Well, I still don't see how this concerns us.
Why, the kid's a natural, a young patriot, a George Washington disciple.
That's disciple.
There we were, going about our business, breaking up the Aldrich rally, nice and peaceful like, when the kid gets in the middle. Right away, I says, that's just the kid we've been looking for.
Willie, this couldn't possibly mean what I think it means.
Why not? After the story I handed the newspapers, he'll wind up a champion of the people he can't miss.
Are you suggesting we run this kid for office?
Listen, if we lose the 2nd District, we lose control of the city. That's why we gotta have a good man.
But what about Buck Hennessy?
He's a weak sister. You said so yourself.
But this kid isn't a politician. He's just a returned serviceman not looking for trouble. Why don't you leave well enough alone and play politics in your own league?
Why, Mary, you talk as if we were doing something wrong. This isn't politics. Why, that kid belongs in City Hall. He's righteous, brave, a gladiator.
That's gladiator. And you can get off your soapbox, Willie. This is Mary you're talking to.
Well, do you think the kid will be willing to run?
Willing. He can make $20,000 a year. The salary alone is $6,000.
You know, I think I've got something. Find out that kid's address. I'm going to pay him a visit. Do you think this kid could be handled?
How bright can he be? Hanging on to the life of George Washington like it was important. Like a racing form or something.
And though the odds were against him, Kelly, a veritable Superman, fought valiantly to the end. And when the police arrived, clutched tightly to his breast was that precious copy of the life of George Washington. The fight has just begun, said the sturdy young patriot. They can kill him, but...
Eustace,
But...
cut it out.
Now, boys, that'll be enough. Remember, Eustace, you're still not too big for the hairbrush.
I was just paying my respects to our patriot.
That'll be all. Now, George, couldn't you eat some of my corned beef and cabbage?
Oh, my jaw's still awful sore.
Oh, well, drink some milk, then. That's good nourishment.
No, here, sit still, I'll go.
Well, for mercy's sake. Well, I'm coming.
Oh, no. You couldn't be Mrs. Kelly now. You're much too young a colleen to be George's mother.
Oh, Bill, I'm that flattered. No, I'm his Aunt Hattie. And who might you be?
You'll pardon my forgiveness for not introducing myself. The name is Rooney. Honest John Rooney. Sure, it's a lovely home you have here. And it's no wonder you have such a fine nephew. With this wonderful environment. And a charming lady like yourself to set an example.
From the tone of your brogue, you're from Ireland. From the flavour of your blarney, you're from Cork. From the glint in your eye, you're from Carrigaline.
It's right as rain you are, fair lady. Could that be corned beef and cabbage I'm smelling?
It could.
Oh, the food of angels. Oh, my. Congratulations, my lad. I like a man who stands up and fights for what he believes in.
Oh, me?
It was a great thing you did, my boy. And I'm going to see you rewarded.
Help yourself.
Thank you. A gastrocomical delight. A chef d'oeuvre of the cuisine. And the quintessence of the culinary art.
That better be a compliment.
Fair lady, I kiss the hand that created this masterpiece.
Pull up a chair.
Thank you. Like I was saying, George, you're about to start on a career the like of which has never been equaled.
This guy is nuts.
You don't know who I am?
Your face isn't familiar, but you certainly are. Who are you?
Honest John Rooney, a representative of the people. And I'm going to see that this brave young man is made the alderman of this district. I knew that would surprise you.
Well, it surprised me, too.
And who are you?
George Kelly.
Like I was saying, George, you're about to embark on a career the like of which has never been equaled. It's written in the books. You're to be alderman of this district.
I'm not interested.
Not interested? Well, I can understand that. But with your poor, war-torn mind, but you'll think better of it later on.
I'm perfectly happy working for Mr. Martin in the hardware business.
Did you just say you'd be satisfied with the hardware business? Marvelous. What integrity? In 2 weeks' time, you'll be the most talked-of man in this town.
Anyway, I don't know anything about politics. I'm not interested in politics. I wouldn't even know what was going on.
Excellent. Every qualification of a statesman. I've got the campaign all mapped out.
You're crazy. Even if I agreed to run, nobody's ever heard of me.
That was true yesterday, my lad. But not today. Have you read the papers?
Yeah, he read them.
I've got a good mind to sue him for libel.
Now, don't take that attitude, young fellow, and I agree with him 100%. After all, a young disciple of Washington.
I'm not a disciple of Washington.
You were reading that book when you were attacked it.
It was Aunt Hattie's. Why don't you run her?
Oh, my, that would be fine.
And a more charming candidate I couldn't imagine. But your duty, fair lady, is to convince this young man that he's a natural-born leader.
George, the man is right. All the Kellys were leaders, descendant of kings and the sons of kings.
That they are, your majesty.
Oh, but Aunt Hattie, it's ridiculous.
All right, young fellow. As I said before, I can understand how you feel. Now go to bed, relax, take it easy. You've got all the rest of the night to rehabituate yourself. Drop in around and see me tomorrow.
Are you sure you wouldn't like some corned beef before you go?
Oh, no. Might ruin me dinner.
Hi, Scotty. Hiya, Mr. Kelly. Mr. Kelly.
It's no longer a secret, George. I mean, Mr. Kelly. Old man Martin let the cat out of the bag, Mr. Alderman.
Oh, that's what he wants to see me about.
Well, come in, come in. Sit down, Kelly. George. Have a cigar, my boy?
Well, I don't mind if I do.
How long you been with us, my boy?
6 years, that is, if you're not counting my stay in the Army.
You know, you and I have been more than just boss and employee.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you feel that way, Mr. Martin.
Yes, sir. I certainly hate to accept your resignation.
Who's resigning?
Well, you are. After all, once you're elected alderman.
Oh, but I don't want to be an alderman. I like it here, Mr. Martin. I just want to keep on working for you.
Nonsense, my boy. Why should I, Benjamin Martin, hold back one of the greatest political careers in the history of West Haven?
You mean me?
Well, I don't mean your Aunt Hattie. And, Georgie boy, when they're handing out the garbage contract, don't forget the Martin can. It's durable and economical.
Now, let's get this straight, Mr. Martin. I came back to West Haven for peace and quiet. I'm not running for alderman.
But I know how you feel, my boy, but I'm afraid you and I have very little to say about it.
I don't understand.
You've been away a long time, haven't you, George? This is no longer the city of West Haven. It is merely the suburb of Honest John. If I don't get you to run, he'll cancel every one of my city contracts, and I'm out of business in a week.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Martin.
Now, wait a minute, my boy, wait a minute. If you won't do it for me, think of yourself. Now, if I know Honest John Rooney, he'll fix it so that you never get a job of any kind. Either you're an alderman or you're unemployed.
Is that so? Well, this is a free country, isn't it?
Oh, I know.
Well, no Honest John is going to run my life for me.
I know, but my...
I'll see that guy, and I'll tell him plenty. Sorry.
You again?
Oh, it's you.
This is getting to be a habit.
Well, I'm very sorry.
Is that all you ever say?
Here, let me take those. Where do you want them?
Right here on my desk.
Oh, all right. Oh, the pencils and papers.
Well, this is cozy. Why don't we just stay here for the rest of our lives and let the world go by? If you say I'm sorry, I'll scream.
Well, I certainly am very clumsy.
Oh. Never mind. I'll just sweep everything under the desk and get them sometime when you're not around.
You work here?
No, I just drop around once a year for the pencil hunting. Now, what can I do for you?
Oh, I want to see Mr. Rooney.
Sorry, he's not buying any.
I'm not selling any. I just want to talk to him.
No can do. He's a very busy man.
Okay. I got a lot of time. I'll wait.
Mary!
Yes, Mr. Rooney?
Have you heard from Kelly?
No, he hasn't written, phoned, or contacted us by radar.
Don't worry, he will.
Well, I hope you're right.
Trimble's always right. Go ahead, Mary. Break the yarn to the newspapers. Tell them Hennessy's been replaced.
Maybe you better wait and see if Kelly accepts the nomination.
It's okay. I accept it for him.
Well, I hope you two know what you're doing. City desk, please. Hello, Kennedy? This is Honest John Rooney's headquarters. I thought you might like to know we're replacing Hennessy as alderman for 2nd District. Sure, it's definite. The new candidate's name is George Kelly. And you can tell your readers he's a modern George Washington. Honest, upright, fearless, and with the fire of truth in his eye. He's a true champion of the people. A knight on white horseback.
Now, wait a minute.
And Mr. Rooney predicts that Mr. Kelly's dynamic personality and sheer electric vitality will sweep the district. Fine. Thanks a lot, Kennedy.
Excuse me,
Look,
miss.
Junior, Mr. Rooney has an election on his hands. Why don't you come back here in April? It's lovely here in the spring.
If that's the way you want it. You can tell your honest John Rooney that Mr. Kelly was here.
I will, George Kelly.
I felt that'd get you.
Washington's right-hand man. The Star-Spangled Banner in person. Oh, come with me. Announcing George Kelly.
George Kelly. Well, well, well! If it isn't Two-Fisted Kelly, our new white hope for the 2nd District.
Listen, Mr. Rooney, I'm not your white hope. I'm nobody's white hope. I just came by to tell you to stop messing in my affairs.
Yes, yes, I know exactly how you feel, lad, but a little rest, a little relaxation.
And a little rehabilitation.
Didn't I see you when I got slugged?
That's right. And from now on, I'll be your companion, advisor, and critic. In fact, everything but your mother.
Yes, and I'll be that.
Okay, I'll send you a posy on Mother's Day. Now listen, Mr. Rooney.
It's all fixed. You're on the ticket in place of Hennessy.
I don't want to be an alderman.
I'll tell you how we'll go about it. In the first place, the publicity. We'll start a campaign that will leave this town smoking. The name George Kelly will become a household word. Have you got a middle name?
W.
Oh, no. It's too good to be true. George W. Kelly. George Washington Kelly.
But my middle name... Your middle name is Washington. What a sensational idea. It's the best one I ever had.
But, boss.
Yes.
Like I said, it's the best idea you ever had.
The W stands for Willoughby.
Just like I said, George Washington Kelly.
George Willoughby Kelly. What's more, it's going to stay that way. You can influence Aunt Hattie, Mr. Martin, and everyone else. But as far as I'm concerned, you can get yourself a new white hope.
Oh, but you know, I'm beginning to think he don't want to run.
All right.
Mary! 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 Mary!
Yes, Mr. Rooney?
Well, Mary, we're in trouble with that boy. He don't want to run. And don't say I told you so.
He's a little cagier than we thought he was.
Oh, that boy cagey? Why, he's got a 2-word vocabulary.
You know him?
Well, we run into each other quite a bit.
Good enough. He needs a little more convincing, and that's your department.
My department?
Sure. He works at Martin Metalware. Just run into him accidental like, you know. Promote a couple of dates. You're a pretty bright girl. I don't have to tell you what to do.
Say, that's a great idea. I'm glad I thought of it.
Well, this job was a lot of fun while it lasted. I'll see you boys around sometime.
Mary, you mean you won't do this for honest John Rooney?
It's not in my contract, and I read the fine print.
Why, Mary, it ain't as if we were trying to run a crook. That kid's honest. And West Haven can use an honest man in place of Hennessy.
West Haven can use 2 honest men in the place of Rooney and Trimble.
Mary.
That'd be a nice fat bonus if you got Kelly to run.
The bonus I like. But the other part I don't like.
I knew we could count on you, Mary. Holy smoke, we're due at Mulligan's. We're unveiling a new table at Mulligan's pool room.
Yes, and we've got to stick with Mulligan. He's a good, steady voter.
He never votes less than 5 times.
Good evening, Mr. Kelly. I'm holding the table for you. Come with me. Hi, Alderman.
Hello, Mary. Hello. Hello, Mr. Kelly.
Well, a new alderman.
Why, it's George Washington Kelly.
You have my vote, my wife's vote, my cousin's vote, and my uncle's.
One day the very cutest couple landed in New York with the grandest smile in the Emerald Isle, and they looked like County Cork. They looked so very happy, and one day she took his hand and said, "We'll name our baby for the father of this land. Oh, George Washington Kelly, we'll name our baby boy, and to this very beautiful land he'll bring both pride and joy." We might have named him Brian or Patrick in a pinch, but with a name like Washington, the boy will be a cinch. But with a name like Washington, the boy will be a cinch.
What am I supposed to do now?
Take a bow.
What's the idea of the serenade?
Oh, that's your theme song. Nowadays, a politician is lost without a theme song.
I don't get it. I'm walking to work one morning. Somebody clips me on the chin, and the next thing I know, everybody is saying, "Congratulations, Alderman."
Congratulations, Alderman.
Better get used to it.
The next thing you know, kids will be asking for my autograph.
Can I have your autograph, Mr. Kelly?
I thought I told you to keep away from this place.
A mink coat. A beautiful mink coat. A lovely mink coat.
What are you talking about?
Oh, I thought maybe it might work for me.
Oh. Mary, do you think I'm doing the right thing? I mean this business about my becoming an alderman.
Oh, do you question it? You can see how the people feel about you, George.
And I certainly wish I had someone to advise me.
Did Washington have anyone to advise him?
I don't know.
Well, there you are.
Well, maybe I wouldn't mind so much if you were around to help.
Well, I majored in political science at college. Why do you look at me like that?
Well, I was just noticing the way the light strikes your hair.
I wish you'd think about your career.
Maybe I am.
No, I mean about running for alderman.
You know, there's one thing that still puzzles me.
What's that?
Your eyes. Are they gray or green?
Never mind about me. You're the one who counts.
Me?
Mm-hmm. You don't know how much like Lincoln you really are. Let's do a little comparing. All right, we'll take Lincoln. Are you at all familiar with his life?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, well, we'll take Thomas Jefferson then.
Oh, no, it's Thomas Jefferson. You keep ringing in new ones. So you think I'm doing the right thing, going into politics?
To the new alderman. You know, from now on, we're going to be doing a lot of things together.
A lot of things?
Mm-hmm. In the first place, do you ride?
Ride.
Sure ain't George's boots now. Or should I say seat. Don't you think this horse gag's a little on the corny side?
I had nothing to do with it. It was all Trimble's idea.
Oh, me? It was your idea, boss. Now that you mention it, it was my idea. Hey.
My good friends and fellow citizens, I, honest John Rooney, have discovered a man of the people.
Whoa.
I, honest John Rooney, have found another great statesman.
Hold still.
In 76, it was Washington. In 18, then came Lincoln. Anyhow, I, honest John Rooney, have found another great figure right here in our own city of West Haven. So let's all give a big cheer for the next alderman of the 2nd District. Honest George Washington Kelly.
I hope he doesn't get hurt.
Well, where did he go?
To warn the farmers the British are coming.
Oh.
Enough is enough. Having him run for office is one thing, but parading him on a white horse like a dressed-up Lady Godiva, that's too much.
Now, take it easy, Mary. After all, we gave the folks a good show, and that means votes. Ain't that right?
Depends on how you look at it.
People are impressed when they see the bearded lady at the circus, but that doesn't mean they'll vote for her. I think George has a legitimate beef.
Okay, so maybe Trimble did go off the deep end.
Me? Whose idea was it?
Don't argue.
All right, let's forget it. Yeah. No. No! Well, we finally got the goods on Aldrich. He just made a speech at the West Haven Civic Club.
Okay, so what?
So he builds up the metric system, you know, kilometers and centimeters.
And gas meters.
No bad jokes, please.
We got news for you, Willie. We don't know what you're talking about.
Don't you get it? He builds up the metric system and tears down the American system.
Well, they can't arrest him for that.
No, but you can beat him at the polls with it. Imagine, taking away your feet and pounds and quarts and substituting liters and meters. Is that the American way? No!
It's inspiring, that's what it is.
It's silly.
Silly! Can you imagine Mrs. Milk sending Junior down to the corner grocer for a meter of eggs and a liter of dried herring?
Ooh, perish the thought.
The people of West Haven will not stand idly by while somebody takes away their pints and quarts from under their noses.
And George gave up selling ash cans for this.
What an idea. I don't know how I think of them. We'll put all this tripe in the speech tomorrow.
If you make a speech on a subject like this, you're crazier than I think.
I'm not going to make the speech. George is.
George?
Uh-huh. At the picnic tomorrow.
Satan, you must be a proud woman these days. What with your own nephew just as good as being the next alderman. And why not? That boy always had it in him to be a great statesman. Ha, I'm just as good as in the White House now. Now, Hattie Ken. Don't be putting on so many airs. White House or no White House. Don't be worrying about me, Maureen Mahoney. I'll take my success in the proper manner befitting. Well, now. Well.
Well, to tell you the truth, Honest John asked me to run. But I suggested George. I like to see a young fella get ahead.
You wouldn't kid us, would you, Eustace?
Of course, George's name will be on the door, but I'm really the brains of the outfit.
Members of the Fish and Chowder Club. Oh, that is the Downtown Fish and Chowder Club.
Give me my ball. I want it.
All right, son. Go along and play. Oh, yes. Members of the Downtown Fish and Chowder Club. Are you having a good time? Then go right along and have it. Our candidate, George Washington Kelly. We'll make a speech at 1 o'clock. But right now, I want all of you to meet him man to man. Go on, get out, circulate. There's a lot of people you have to meet.
Do I have to?
It's politics.
Oh, Mr. Kelly, they're about to start the square dance, and you simply must be my partner.
Looks like you're going to be my partner, ma'am.
Whoop. I thought they were going to dance in the car.
Honey, born of the one who looks best, you all join hands and search the Southwest. Come back home and everybody swing. Element left to the left, tell a man to meet your partner right and left ring. Round and around you go, and when you get straight to a do-si-do. Meet your partner and promenade 8 around the old track till you come straight.
He's taking an awful beating.
You know, even I'm beginning to feel sorry for him.
The tough part of it is he can't get her vote. She won't fit in the voting booth.
Take your partner, promenade, you go where, and I don't care, and give your lady a little fresh air.
Gee, Mr. Kelly, that was swell. They're going to play a polka next. You're my partner again.
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm sorry to have to drag you away from all this merriment, Mr. Kelly, but something very important has come up. Mr. Rooney wants to see you about new percent with the sour apple table with it.
Oh, yes,
And
yes.
it's quite urgent.
Oh, thanks for the rescue. You know, I'm afraid this isn't for me. Kissing babies, fussing over people just to get their votes.
All part of the game.
I thought last night was bad. How long does this keep up? What are you laughing at?
Oh, you did look pretty silly last night.
Well, I'm still a little sore today.
Didn't last night's sleep fix you up?
Well, to tell you the truth, I found it pretty hard sleeping in a standing-up position, if you know what I mean.
Oh, well, we'd better get back, George. It's after 1.
Oh, the speech can wait. Come on, I want to talk to you.
Say, I wonder where he can be. It's time for a speech.
Don't worry, boss. He'll be here. He's with Mary, and she knows what she's doing. You better get up and say something. I'll find Kelly.
My good friends and fellow voters, in the first place, we may consider ourselves very fortunate in having a man of the caliber of George Washington Kelly.
Your eyes are gray. I could have sworn they were green.
Oh, they're only green when I'm excited.
Funny, that day I bumped into you in front of the bank. I never dreamed we'd be together like this.
I think you saw my bank balance and just wanted me for my money.
Well, that's a nice thing.
Hi there, kids. I reckon I'm a little lost, youngsters. Can you tell me which way the picnic is?
Yeah, if you walk straight ahead, you can't miss it.
Hey, what do you say, Sonny?
And in the 15th place, George Washington Kelly has proven himself to be... Oh, yes, he has.
I'm trying to find a picnic so we can get some chowder. Love that chowder.
If you walk that way, you'll find all the chowder you can eat.
What'd you say, miss?
Chowder. She said chowder.
Chowder? Love some. Where can I get it?
The picnic's that way.
Well, you don't have to yell. I ain't deaf.
Where were...
Oh.
And in the 43rd place, it's not only your duty, you intelligent voters.
You know, when you figure an alderman gets $6,000 a year, that'd buy a lot of groceries. Hey, they're green.
Well, Hey! Can I play too?
Are you another fugitive from the picnic?
No, I followed you up here. Go on, kiss her, I dare you. Well, go on. Kiss her. I double dare you. You look like a sissy to me anyhow.
Why don't you run back and play with the other little boys?
Are you going to be our next alderman, Mr. Kelly?
That remains to be seen.
Ah, your father's mustache.
This would be a nice location for a hot dog stand. That's just to show you that I think you're a pretty nice guy. We better be getting back, George, to the picnic. That is, if there still is a picnic.
And in the 65th place, my good friends, I, honest John Rooney.
Oh, lucky the day when you found me, boss. The damage is repaired. Read that.
Huh? Opposition attacks parents of George Washington Kelly, son of washerwoman and drunkard, says Aldrich Speaker. J.B. Norton. Oh, that's a nice job, Willie. That sure makes a heel out of Aldrich. And that's the first rule. Always make a heel out of the other guy.
And not only that, people are nuts about guys whose old lady took in washing and whose old man was a lush. I ought to know. I got lots of friends. Oh, don't get me wrong. My old man never touched a drop in his life.
Oh, no?
It was my old lady. Pop did the washing.
You know, I never thought you'd be able to get to J.B. Norton. What did it cost?
5 C's.
Cheap enough.
That's the most despicable thing I ever heard.
Gee, thanks, Mary.
This will put Kelly in spite of himself. And you know what? For getting him to run, I'm going to double your bonus.
A bonus, eh? I never thought you were in on this, Mary.
But I didn't know.
Yes, it's Norton. I read the newspapers, too. Nobody's going to say things like that about my folks. Go on, tell them what you told me.
Wait a minute, George. This ain't politics. You ain't supposed to beat him up. You just make a crack at him in a speech.
Go ahead, tell him. He got me to say it. He paid me to.
I didn't know anything about
All
this.
part of the game,
But
eh?
if you'll just listen,
Well, if
George.
you're worried about your bonus, I'm sorry I can't contribute to your bank account. Goodbye, Miss Burton.
If he won't listen to reason, we're sunk.
I've known George all my life. We were raised together. Pretty stubborn guy, George.
Well, it's no use, Mr. Trimble. He won't see you.
He's got to see me. He's due to make a speech at Convention Hall in an hour.
Well, you'll have to get somebody else to make the speech. That boy's been hurt. Bad.
He's got to learn to understand politics.
Sure, and you've got to learn to understand human nature. You nor the likes of you can't go around twisting the character of a fine boy for your own greedy needs. Now, suppose you start along, Mr. Trimble, before I get me Irish up.
What's it?
Go on with you.
It's no go. The guy won't budge. We'll have to get ourselves a new candidate.
At this stage of the game, you're nuts. We've got the whole 2nd District on the hook. We're not going to lose the bait now.
What do you intend using? Jiu-jitsu?
Better than that. As Shakespeare once said, if Muhammad don't go to the mountain, you take the mountain to Kelly. Now, here's the angle. As political leader of this district, I command you to open that door. I beseech you to open that door. Oh, come on, Georgie, open up, will you?
Go away.
But you can't do this. You're our candidate.
The candidate is permanently retiring.
But you can't retire from a job you haven't got yet.
Well, if you won't go peacefully... What's that supposed to be?
Well, I guess when the people heard you weren't coming to the rally, they brought the rally here. Here's your speech. All you have to do is read it.
I told you I was through, and I meant it. The last time, Rooney... Oh, it's you. I had a hunch you wouldn't be far away. What do you want now?
Rooney says you refused to make a speech.
And I suppose you get another bonus if you talk me into it.
Listen, George, it doesn't matter what you think of me. But you've got to speak to those people out there.
I'd like to tell them what I really think.
Then why don't you? Don't you remember what I told you about some of the voters needing a shot in the arm? Well, this is your chance to give it to them.
And I told you I didn't want any part of politics.
This isn't politics, George. This is statesmanship.
Okay. You and Rooney want a speech? I'll give you one.
Fellow voters, due to circumstances beyond our control, I give you the next alderman of this district, George Washington Kelly. You changed your mind, I see. That's being smart.
Folks, here in my hands, I have the speech I was supposed to make tonight. That takes care of that. Many of you people think I'm going to tell you about how George Washington influenced my life. Well, you've got another thing coming. I've never read a book on Washington. I can't even remember when he was born. Everything you've been told about me is as phony as the man who nominated me. And that goes for everybody connected with him.
He's gone crazy.
Crazy? Why, he's magnificent.
I don't know the first thing about city government. All I'd be expected to do is sit around and stooge for honest John Rooney. There's only one way to vote in this election, and that's for Frank Aldrich.
Well, boss, what now? Kelly really fixed us.
Not yet. I've got a trick or two up my sleeve. When I get through with George Washington Kelly, he'll think Valley Forge was a cocktail party. Hello? West Haven Sanitarium. Oh, Doc. This is Honest John. You'd better do something for me. Send an ambulance and 2 muscle men over to George Kelly's house. He's blown his top. Put him in a straitjacket and lock him up. No, Doc, I won't forget you. Goodbye. That kid will be sorry he ever started with me.
Boss, that's the greatest idea you ever had.
That's only half of it. Wait till I break it in all the papers that Hennessy's back in the ballot. We'll get Hennessy enough write-in votes to win the election twice.
Well, I think I'll be heading for home. It's been a busy day.
Good night.
Good night.
Oh.
Oh, George, I'm glad I got here in time. You've got to get out of here.
With you, what is this, another of Rooney's brainstorms?
Look, there's no time for questions. A couple of Rooney strong-arm men are on their way over. Come with me. I've got Rooney's car.
You heard what she said. Go.
I'm not going anywhere, least of all with her.
Mary. Here.
Thanks, Aunt. Oh! All right, Mr. Kelly, come along with me.
You want me to go? Is it necessary to keep my hands up?
Not necessarily, but please go.
What's the idea?
Let's go. Move.
All right.
Hurry up. Hurry up.
I'm surprised at Aunt Hattie, that's all I can say.
You drive.
We're looking for George Kelly.
Oh, well, you've come to the wrong place. The name here is, Krausmeyer.
Hey, Mom. You forgot to shine my shoes.
Oh.
No, wait a minute, fellas. Lay off my arm.
Don't you know what's
Look, I want to tell you something.
Take it easy.
What are you doing to me? Take that thing off. I'm Eustace Kelly. I'm not George Kelly. Let me go.
You'll be okay.
I tell you, I'm not George Kelly. I'm Eustace Kelly.
George, behave yourself.
Now, look, I'm telling you, I'm Eustace Kelly.
Everything's going to be all right.
Mom, tell him who I am.
Now, maybe it's all for the best, George.
George? Mom, don't you remember me? I'm your little boy, Eustace.
Well, now, don't you go worrying about it, George. The men in the white coats are your friends. They want to help you.
I'd never believe it. My own flesh and blood. Oh, Mom.
Come on, George.
Mom.
I guess I had you figured all wrong.
Well, I don't blame you. It did look bad for me.
I still don't see why we have to drive this far.
Oh, Rooney probably has his guerrillas covering every road. You've got to stay undercover until the polls close tomorrow.
But the damage is done.
And what damage? You put Honest John Rooney and Associates out of business forever.
Looks like I made a first-class dope out of myself.
Dope? You were a knight on white horseback. I was proud of you.
You were? Honest?
Oh, there's a car following us. Look, we can't take chances. Step on it. Oh, hurry, they're gaining.
Well, now what?
We've got to hide out in a spot where they'll never think of looking.
I still don't see the reason for all this. Aldrich will win the election anyway.
Aldrich, that's it. We'll hide out at Aldrich's home.
What?
Sure, Rooney will never think of looking there. Well, looks like we'll have to walk.
We, could stay here.
Do I have to scare you with the gun again?
Well, I'd be very scared if it was loaded.
Come on.
I thought my marching days were over when I got out of the Army.
Yeah, at this rate, we'll be in West Haven in time for the Summer Strawberry Festival. Ooh! Hey! Oh, 3 cars in an hour. I just can't go another step.
Okay. This is the silliest thing I've ever done. It's Eustace.
Hey, George. George, hop in.
Oh, this is a lucky break.
Lucky nothing. Mom sent me out looking for you. I've been driving around for hours.
Good old Aunt Hattie.
By rights, I shouldn't even give you a lift at all. On account of you, I spent half the night in the booby hatch.
You can blame that on that crook Rooney.
Yeah, Mom told me all about him. But if it hadn't been for him coming down to the sanitarium to pay you a social visit last night, I'd still be there. Where do you think you'll be going?
Back to West Haven, Frank Aldrich's house. And you better step on it.
Okay. Frank Aldrich's house. Your opponent? You really belong in a booby hatch.
Maybe. Say, listen, Junior Executive. I know this is no time to bring it up, but I thought you told me that you had a white-collar job.
I have. There ain't no law against driving a truck in a white collar.
You know, I didn't think we'd be this welcome here.
Oh, nonsense. I heard about you telling that mob what you thought.
What I thought and what Honest John didn't expect.
Honest John. I wonder where he got that name anyway.
As they tell it down at City Hall, somebody once left him alone in a room with a hot stove. And when he came out, the stove was still there. It's been Honest John ever since.
But when he wants to, he can play pretty rough. That's why we must stay here until after the votes come in.
I think I know what you mean. I want you two to make yourselves at home. We're going down the polls.
I hope you're voting the right way.
Naturally.
We're going to vote for you.
Anyone who has nerve enough to speak his mind like that should be in City Hall. Come.
The second ward race is still nip and tuck. Kelly has been showing unexpected strength, and the election, which experts predicted would be a landslide for Aldrich, is now developing into a real battle, with the issue still very much in doubt. We will continue to interrupt our programs.
I don't believe it. This can't be.
You can never tell about the public, George.
But I told them the whole setup was a fake. How can they vote for a guy like me?
Because you told them the truth. The people like that.
What'll I do if I'm elected? I know. I'll resign. I'll quit. I'll make him impeach me.
You aren't afraid, are you, Mr. Alderman?
No. But what do I know about politics? I didn't want to get in this crazy mess in the first place. I was very happy selling pots and pans for a living.
The people won't let you sell pots and pans. They want you in City Hall, and they won't take no for an answer.
We want to see George Washington Kelly. Congratulations, Alderman. We put it across.
So Eustace squealed.
We took the 5th precinct by a landslide, which practically cinches it.
What'd you do, stuff the ballot boxes?
He's a card.
That's very funny, Alderman. I'm glad to see you got a sense of humor. Politics needs more guys with a sense of humor.
It was the greatest bit of political strategy I've seen in all the years of my experience in this racket. Profession.
What are you talking about?
Tearing down our political machine. Telling everybody we were dishonest.
You're both crooks and you know it.
And so does everybody else.
Mr. Rooney, this may come to you as a surprise. George meant what he said.
That's pretty talk, Aldrich. But George doesn't make a move without my say-so.
I've got a hunch you're wrong.
Tell him I ain't wrong, George. Go on and tell him.
If I'm elected alderman, I'm going to do an alderman's job.
You see?
Without you, Rooney.
But I'm responsible for you. We have some more election returns, folks. Aldrich headquarters has conceded the election. The final tabulation shows 2,480 votes for Kelly, 1,706 votes for Aldrich, and 1 write-in vote for Hennessy. Ladies and gentlemen, George Washington Kelly is the new alderman of the 2nd District.
Congratulations, George.
Good luck, George.
Wait a minute. There should have been 2 write-in votes. You double-crossed me?
You've got things wrong, Rooney.
That's what you think. I've been in every deal that's been put over in West Haven.
And I'm the little girl who knows all about it.
Of course you do.
Every one of those deals is in your books.
They are.
And being an efficient secretary,
And that you are.
I have them in a good, safe place.
And I thank you.
So I could mention that certain construction swindle.
Mary,
And that school appropriation doesn't exactly add up right.
Oh, Lord, boy.
If you're thinking of leaving town, Mr. Rooney, don't go too far. City Hall will want to talk to you.
Oh, they will. Well, I see you finally rehabilitated yourself. And I, honest John Rooney, want to go on record. Oh, yes, I do. Congratulations, George.
Oh, thank you.
As for you, you lovely girl, need I tell you what I think about you?
What a crook! I'm glad I had nothing to do with him.
Well, what are you waiting for?
Why, Mary, I was only an innocent tool. A poor, pathetic pawn in the game of life.
Willie, everything is in the books.
You and your political science course.
I heard every word you said. How could you talk like that about me?
It was easy.